Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 29 of the Zoomer Sports Radio. And I'm joined by a special guest today for our Illinois Duke pregame show. I am joined by the one and only Duke fan, Luke Pedrigi of Superfans Sports Spiel podcast on YouTube, Spotify. You're on everything, right? Every
It's on. No, it's actually not on Spotify.
Really?
Yeah, Spotify. I need to figure that out, but it's on Apple, Google, and YouTube. And then our TikTok is at superfans.sports.
Yeah, go check them out there. Great content, great channel. I love their stuff. They're really into college basketball content, and why not? It's the best sport going on right now,
Yeah,
especially with the Bears being so bad.
exactly. Yeah, but the game yesterday was like I was watching the game and I was like, oh, well, maybe okay, we're winning. I mean, I know it's the Lions, so that's not saying much, but at least we're not losing. And then you're just like, wow, okay, so yeah, we actually do suck like really bad.
Yeah, in my rant for the TikTok I posted yesterday, I was like, I'm not really that mad. I'm more like kind of like relieved because like this is now we're gonna get rid of Nagy and Pace, but let's stop talking about the Bears. I mean, that's all everyone wants to talk about. We need to focus on this marquee matchup that everyone has had circled on their calendars since the ACC Big Ten Challenge was announced. This Illinois Duke game at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Luke, before that, I want to know how the hell are you a Duke fan when you're from the Chicago suburbs?
Yeah, so my great uncle, actually went to Weber High School in Chicago the same time that Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, also went to Weber High.
Greatest coach of
So
all time.
yeah, and so obviously my uncle knew him. They went to school together, and when he became the coach, well, first he was coaching at Army, and then he ended up at Duke. And then they started becoming really good. So my dad, when he was growing up, became a huge Duke fan. And obviously when I was born, I was just a Duke
You were
fan.
born into it.
Yeah, exactly. So I get a lot of bandwagon comments and everything, but just like, whatever.
I mean, that story is like that's like a unique enough story where I wouldn't consider you a bandwagon.
Yeah. Definitely not a bandwagon. I mean,
you've cheered for them your whole life, I would assume.
yeah. And honestly, that I think the bandwagon comments are just stupid because is anyone like, I don't understand, why would you want to be a Duke bandwagon? Like, Duke gets the most hate out of anyone. Like I love being a Duke fan because I love Duke.
You
But
guys are
like
good
if
every year.
yeah, that too. But like if I were to choose to be a fan of a team, I probably wouldn't choose Duke because like, especially if you're a bandwagon, because then you're just gonna get called out for it and get hated on. And like when Duke loses, no matter who they lose to, no matter if they're if they're like if the odds are against them by like if the spread's like 20 points against them, which never happens, but if that were the case and they still lost, like the slander is coming. So, that's just the life of being a Duke fan. But you know what? I just love Duke, so I'm
Like
right with that.
especially when you guys lost to Stephen F. Austin last year,
Yeah, exactly.
or whenever you guys lose in the tournament, Lehigh, Mercer, when you had Zion and them, you lost in the Elite Eight. Just whenever Duke loses, America wins.
Exactly, and that's the other thing. Like everyone will talk about, oh, you guys had Zion and RJ, and you guys still lost. And it's just like, yeah, we did. What's your point? Like we weren't the best team that year. Like we had Zion and RJ. We weren't the best team. We lost in the Elite Eight, which is still impressive. Obviously for Duke, Elite Eight's like it's whatever. It's usually a Final Four appearance, championship or nothing. But
Man, imagine cheering for some team that good. I can't imagine.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty great. But I mean, being an Illinois fan like you, these years where you're actually a top team for once and first time since 2005 or whatever.
First time since D. Will, Luther Head, D. Brown.
Yeah.
But I mean, this Illinois team is talented because Illinois has been at the tournament since they had guys on their team named Brandon Paul, John Eakey, DJ Richardson, Tyler Griffey, and to be that team, that's the last competitive team Illinois had. Granted, we've had like teams. We've had a bunch of guys that like could have gotten us to the tournament, but frankly, John Gross is just a terrible coach for us. And like I feel like he ruined the careers of Malcolm Hill, Kendrick Nunn, who got kicked off the team. He ruined guys like Ravonte Rice, but just John Gross. Thank God he's at Akron and no longer at Illinois.
So what's the story with Kendrick Nunn? Because I know he transferred from Illinois to Oakland, was it?
Yeah, he got kicked off the team.
Yeah, he did. I
He
knew
got kicked off the team for a dispute. I don't really want
Yeah.
to get into that because I don't know the facts, but he did something very bad and got kicked off the team.
Yeah. All right, that's interesting. I just knew he was with Illinois, then transferred to Oakland. But yeah, maybe that
Yeah,
explains why he went undrafted.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. Why he went undrafted. Now he's one of the up and coming stars in the NBA. But Luca, how do you feel about this year's Blue Devil team with DJ Stewart and Matthew Hurt? Definitely a very talented group. And what would you say this team separates them from teams in the past and maybe getting them to the national title for the first time since 2015?
Yeah, so this team is very different from the usual Duke teams we see. Usually you see I mean, obviously we still have a lot of freshmen this year, but usually we see um Duke being literally like a all freshman starting lineup. And I mean, at least to start the year, we had Jordan Goldwire, who's a senior, Joey Baker, who's a junior, Moore and Hurt, who are sophomores, and then Johnson, who's a freshman. So we saw at least a little bit of age and experience, which is not something you usually have with Duke. But then we've only played 3 games. So against MSU, we came out with DJ Stewart, Jalen Johnson, Matthew Hurt, Jeremy Roach, who's another freshman, and Wendell Moore. So obviously it was already a much younger lineup. And it's just this year we have, in my opinion, we have 11 guys who can play, even though Henry Coleman and Patrick DePay have gotten almost like no playing time. And even Mark Williams, who's our 7-foot center, he actually started against Bellarmine, who we just played last Friday. And I think that was only because we have to play Illinois on Tuesday, and Mark Williams had only played 8 minutes combined the first 2 games. So Coach Case just decided he needed to get playing time before he was going to have to go up against Kofi Coburn, who's obviously a beast. And
Name says it all.
Yeah, pretty
Name
much.
says it all.
And so there's just a lot of depth on this Duke team, and hopefully we won't have to rely on just the same one guy to score and make all the plays like it kind of seemed like in 2018. It seemed like we had to rely on Zion a lot to score. Even RJ Barrett, like
Trey Jones, Cam Reddish, they weren't on the same level as Zion.
Exactly. I mean, Trey Jones last year was amazing. He was elite, and I really miss him, especially after that MSU game. We needed someone to be a leader and step up and make the plays, take the shots, play good defense. But his freshman year he wasn't as dominant, wasn't as elite. But that's kind of what I want to see from Jeremy Roach. I think if he's probably going to stay next year, and I think he's going to take a big leap next year, just like Trey Jones did. So for his sophomore season, I could see him being a dominant point guard like Trey Jones was. And yeah, I just think this team has just a lot of players who can play. I mean, Jamin Brakefield, who's a 4-star freshman from West Virginia, he's starting to emerge. He had 4 3-pointers on 4 3-point attempts against Bellarmine. So it's nice to see that he can shoot, and we can rely on him to shoot the 3 ball, because against MSU, we only had 1 3-point make the whole game, and that was from Jamin Brakefield. And it was kind of nerve-wracking watching just everyone just chuck up threes, and none of them were going down. So, yeah,
I noticed that problem with Illinois a lot is not making the three ball because they got outshot from beyond the arc. And it's Baylor, Ohio. And they lost to Baylor. They almost lost to Ohio. So that is a problem for both these teams. And I would like to mention this Duke team, way smaller than years past. Like in years past, they've had these big centers, Marvin Bagley, Zion Williamson, the Plumlee brothers. My bad, up the Plumlee brothers and Matthew Hurt, 6'9". He's their five, or he can play the five. But like Mark Williams is their only guy above 7 foot.
Yeah, which is why I was kind of confused why he was only getting 4 minutes a game the first two games. And obviously, um, when you see Kofi Coburn on the schedule, you have to give Mark Williams some playing time, knowing that he's going to have to step up for the next game. And Patrick Tepe, who is like, he's a 6'9", 4 or 5 sort of guy, a graduate transfer from Columbia. I was confused why him and Williams weren't getting playing time the first two games. And then Bellarmine comes and Williams starts and Tepe finally gets minutes, obviously to prepare for Coburn. But yeah, I just feel like, especially in the MSU game, it was like, why can't we just get Mark Williams out there? Because nothing else on offense is working. Just get him out there, see what he can do. If we can get the ball down low, see if he can post someone up, get to the rim, or just change anything up. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this Illinois team, they're pretty small themselves, really, with Kofi and Georgie being their only really big men. I mean, they run a four like guard type starting lineup because Adam Miller is definitely not a four, even though he plays it. He's more of a three. Same with Io, I would say is more of a two than a three. But they do that because they want DeMonte Williams in that lineup, who I said is the glue to this team. I think DeMonte Williams, even though you have Adam Miller, all these NBA talented guys, Io, Kofi, I think DeMonte is the key to Illinois' victory because if he gets the team going. That's why he was named one of the captains.
Yeah, I noticed that watching Illinois play, they come out with literally what you said, 4 guards and Kofi Coburn. And then obviously Georgie rotates in for when Kofi needs a breather
And
because,
Coleman Hawkins will, who actually liked my TikTok about Illinois,
yeah.
he will come in occasionally, but he's a freshman, no experience. This Illinois team has zero experience at all.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem come March. But I mean, not actually scratch that last statement I just said. You guys are going to, I think it's going to be a problem while you guys are early on playing conference play because I think you're going to go up against more experienced teams like MSU or even I don't want to say necessarily Iowa because Iowa, they're
I
definitely
mean,
more
you
experienced.
can. I would say Wisconsin might be more
Yeah,
experienced.
they definitely are. They have like an all senior starting five. So there's going to be a lot of teams who are going to challenge Illinois, even though Illinois is probably more talented. But I think come March, because the Big Ten competition is so strong, it's going to prepare them for the tournament. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Illinois, because I am an Illinois fan. They're my second team. I would root for them any other day. But yeah, hopefully Illinois can come in at like a 3-1 seed. Who knows? The possibilities are endless at this point. So
I mean, right now, this Illinois team, I really don't know what to expect out of them because they had two very dominant games versus North Carolina A&T and Chicago State, but those are cupcakes of all cupcakes because Chicago State hasn't won a game in a full calendar year, believe it or not,
yeah, I know they're like the worst Division I program
which is
right now.
which is hilarious because they're from Chicago, which breeds basketball
You
talent. So
you would
much guys.
yeah you would think they'd be able to find some kid just like, hey, you play good basketball. Oh yeah, I
They'd
can.
probably offer us a scholarship. They're that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I
yeah,
mean, this is like
surprising.
the two. This is literally like the Chicago Bowl. The two best freshmen coming out of Chicago this past year are playing each other. DJ Stewart and Adam Miller.
Yeah, that's an interesting storyline. There's a lot of highlights between both of them playing each other, and they're good friends. So they've been tweeting at each other, posting Instagram, like tagging each other in Instagram posts and stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think both of them are very good at scoring the basketball. both of them, they're very similar. They both rely on their jump shot a lot, and the jump shot either goes or it doesn't go. So
I mean, I
they're
feel like
kind
that's with every guy.
well, yeah, but some guys, more consistent than others.
Oh, for sure.
But like Adam Miller just couldn't make a shot against Baylor. That really,
And then I was out there dribbling the clock at every possession. I was just so mad. I literally said I was doing a TikTok live at the time. It was at the end of the first half. I'm like, whatever Illinois can do is they're up. They're up. All you can do is don't turn the ball over and let Baylor take the lead going in half. Don't give them the momentum. What did they do? They turned the ball right away and giving Baylor an easy layup going up 31-30 at the half. I literally called it 10 seconds before it happened. Don't do that. What do? They do exactly what I tell them not to do. And then they got run off the court in the second half.
yeah, I think that's just the inexperience of Illinois. But honestly, when you become a fan of a college basketball team, especially a team that's very good every year like Duke is, you learn a lot about just like everything and like because I've seen plenty of Duke teams. I've seen bad Duke teams and I've seen good Duke teams. And one thing I know is um when you have inexperienced teams, like losses can just be like learning points. And I think even though Illinois kind of got crushed um, against Baylor and Duke kind of got crushed against MSU, there's lessons to be taught, and they can learn some things from those games. Like Duke was getting crushed pretty much from 5 minutes left in the first half to like 15 minutes left in the second half. So that 20-minute span, they were just getting demolished. But those last 5 minutes of the game, they were able to somehow bring it in with like within 5 points, 4 points, something crazy. And that's just really promising. That just shows they don't give up and that they're willing to go all the way, the whole 40 minutes. And yeah, it's better that they see that that adversity now than it will be in March.
I think that
So
might be the difference between this Illinois team and your Duke team is that when Illinois got down early in that second half, they were done. They couldn't come back. They didn't. They ended up losing 82-69, lost by 13 points, and it was not pretty. I'm sure Underwood was yelling a storm in the locker room after the game, but I think it just comes down to the lack of experience because Baylor team way more experienced. I feel like Jared Butler schooled them, and then Mark Vital, I believe that's his name.
yes, yeah,
Just
yeah.
was destroying them on the boards. And then that one dude with like three names I can never pronounce on Baylor.
Oh yeah. The guy from
I,
UNLV,
yeah,
transfer
he was
from
just
UNLV.
destroying Illinois as well.
Yeah.
And that was a big game. I think it will help them for Duke, but I thought I thought this UT Martin game, which obviously got canceled, would have been big for Illinois to just gather their thoughts before Duke. Obviously, I think that's an advantage for the Blue Devils that Illinois is not getting this extra game in.
Well, actually, Duke's game yesterday against Elon was canceled as
Duke's
well.
canceled. Is that their third game already canceled?
It's our second game. Our first game against Gardner Webb got canceled. Then Sunday's game against Elon got canceled. And I actually wasn't aware that when was that game supposed to be played?
Saturday.
Yeah, so I mean, I was kind of afraid looking at that, just seeing like, oh, that's kind of we've already had two games canceled, and I was kind of expecting Illinois would had a full schedule played, and that was going to be an advantage for Illinois. But it sounds like both of these teams are going to be on the same page, and yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Going back to this DJ Stewart, Adam Miller conversation, who do you think will have a better? Who do you think in the long run will have a better NBA career? Because obviously they're both going to go to the NBA.
Well, all things considered, I think DJ Moore was more, or not. Sorry, not DJ Moore. I
DJ
got the
Moore,
wrong guy.
the wide receiver.
Yeah. I was confusing DJ Stewart with Wendell Moore, and then DJ Moore came out, and I have DJ Moore on my fantasy team. He was actually placed on the COVID list today. Anyways,
I don't know who. Whenever I think of Wendell Moore, I just think of Wendell Carter, who also went to Duke.
I have his jersey actually.
Same. It's up in my room.
Yeah. So yes, DJ Stewart was he was more highly recruited, ranked higher in the
Well, he was a 5-star, and Adam was only a 4-star.
So I mean, if you want to I haven't seen enough from either of them to really determine that right now. I see, and when did they say this? They said this during the MSU game. They said, like DJ Stewart, they're comparing him to Lou Williams, and like it blew my mind because literally I've been telling myself that like ever since I like watched any highlights, and I was like, oh, this guy reminds me of Lou Williams, but like I had never like told that to anyone, and then they said it on the ESPN broadcast. I was like,
so does that mean DJ Stewart will leave the bubble for strip clubs?
maybe I think he probably does like fried chicken. And then Adam Miller, he's bigger, and that's all. I don't know enough about Adam Miller to.
I mean, I like what Coach Underwood said about DJ Stewart in his press conference earlier today. His thoughts on DJ Stewart were he plays really hard. He plays the full 94 feet on the court. He'll give you his all every time he plays. He's a great defender. He creates havoc in the passing lanes, and he creates shots and makes the clutch ones when you need it.
Yeah, I'd agree. Hopefully that last statement is true about making the clutch shots when we need it. I haven't really seen that too much yet because we haven't been put in that position.
I mean, the only game was MSU, and you had to claw yourself back.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think he's a great shooter. I think he's a little inconsistent right now. Against Coppin State, he was just banging him all day, and then MSU, he struggled.
I mean, you can say the same with Io when they were playing North Carolina A&T and then Baylor, because like it's a very steep talent drop.
You mean from
Baylor to North Carolina A&T? North Carolina A&T, you're getting like 1 stars. Baylor, Scott Drew's pulling 5 and 4 stars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Baylor isn't necessarily pulling 5 and 4 stars. They're just
developing them.
They're pulling 3 stars and making them look like literally last year when Baylor would play all the time on ESPN, they kept referring to Baylor as the island of misfit toys, which is true. You look, they just have these like Mark Vital. Like, have you seen that guy? He's literally a fullback. He looks like they just took him off the football team and put a basketball jersey on him, and he's a truck, literally. You would never think he's a basketball player, and he averages probably somewhere near 8 rebounds a game.
He's just a full F-150 on the court.
Literally. And he can do a lot. He's very physical, great defender, rebounds the basketball, and that's just what you need in college basketball.
Rebounds. I mean, I'm telling you, if Illinois is going to win, they need Kofi to 1, stay out of foul trouble, 2, at least get 10 rebounds every game. I think if Kofi gets a double-double, I think if Kofi rebounds first, the points will come. And if Kofi gets a double-double, Illinois will probably win 90% of those games.
Yeah, both teams are going to need the best from all of their players. So especially Illinois is going to be relying a lot on Io. If Io doesn't have it tomorrow night, it's not going to go good for Illinois. And if he does have it, it's probably going to go good. Simple as that.
It literally is. There's nothing else about it because we've seen Io play well, 28 points. We've seen him play awful. Baylor dribbling out the shot clock, just trying to force up shots because he's the number 1 scoring threat on that team. But I think they just got to share the wealth, get the assists. Like, I don't know what else to say for this Illinois team. Luke, do you want to go into our predictions for this game?
Well, if you want to, should we give a score prediction?
Yeah, my score prediction for the Baylor Illinois game was very off.
Yeah, what was it? You had like 74, 72 or something?
76, 74, Illinois win. Yeah. Illinois won. Pat's prediction actually was almost right on. He predicted Baylor to score 82 points, which happened.
Yeah. Did he predict, and he predicted Baylor to win?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and guess or predict. I'm obviously going to predict Duke to win. So we'll go Duke, Duke 84, Illinois 79. 5-point game.
All right. I'm gonna be real with you right on this. I think Duke is gonna win, but I cannot pick against
Yeah.
my Illinois final line. I'm gonna go. I was burned last time and picked with my heart, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. I'm gonna go Illinois 81, Duke 77. They get it done. 4 points, and Io drops 22. Kofi double, and then Trent Frazier. No. DeMonte is clutch from behind the arc. I'm riding with my boy DeMonte Williams, who's actually the son of Frank Williams, former Big Ten Player of the Year for Illinois.
Yeah. What was I? I had something in my head and I was gonna say it. Oh yeah. Yeah, against the MSU, that MSU game Duke had, I was not confident at all that they were gonna win. And then actually when Duke went up like 15-3 or whatever it was early on, I was like, oh wow, this is a great surprise. Then I was like, okay, well here's the inexperience I kind of thought would happen. Just because MSU is always such an experienced team, and that story is still correct this year. They just have experience. They just have guys who have played for years and years, and Duke just doesn't have that right now, especially at the level that we expect to be by March. So I wasn't confident in that game. I'm just glad that we made it close at the end and showed that we could fight and play the full 40 minutes. But I think for this game, I'm feeling much better just because Illinois is in the same boat as Duke, not very experienced. And Illinois really, like, even last year, like,
They weren't experienced at all last year either. They're even less.
yeah, Duke has plenty of experience just with good teams. I feel like Illinois with good teams, considering last year and obviously this year they've only played Baylor, but I don't know. I don't know if Illinois is really up for it just yet.
I mean, I would agree with you. Illinois, they're 1-1 versus Iowa last year. They beat Michigan on a clutch buzzer beater from Io, where he once again dribbled out the shot clock, but he shot it over. I think it was Xavier Simpson who couldn't play defense, and that's a big thing too. Michigan losing John Teskey and Xavier Simpson completely wipes out their chances this year.
Yeah, they were ranked 25 to begin the year. Now they're out of there. I think they were like 20. They were technically 26 this week.
I mean, that sounds bad as UCLA.
Okay. Yeah, UCLA is bad, but anyways,
UCLA. I've always noticed. I saw you notice this too, but they're always ranked like 22 or 23 to start the season, and then they barely make the tournament at the end and lose in the first round or like the first four in Dayton. That's always what happens with UCLA.
Yeah, and they always lose their first few games. They never. And this, I literally called it on my first podcast, as you said. I said UCLA is ranked every year, and then they always lose like their first two games, and they lost their first game this year, and they almost lost their second game to Pepperdine. So, yeah, I don't really know why the voters love putting them in the top 25 every year, but they do.
And then I was actually, what was it, 4 years ago? I was at the College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic in Kansas City at the Sprint Center. I actually met John Stockton there. It was pretty awesome. Got a photo with him. But what was I say? I saw UCLA. That team was Jalen Hands, G League player, Thomas Welsh, G League player, Chris Wilkes, which fell off the planet. No clue what happened to him. And Aaron Holiday plays for the Pacers, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a good team. They lost to a Creighton team with Kyrie Thomas, Marcus Foster, Manny Suarez. So that was a tough team, but I didn't think that team of Hands and Holiday was losing. Obviously, UCLA was a distraction at that time because that was the year LeAngelo Ball got into trouble with China.
Yeah.
Hill was there. It was just a complete mess over at Steve Alford's program. And so I think that might have caused that kind of downfall. I think that might have caused a downfall in the UCLA program because the year before with Lonzo and TJ Leaf and Bryce Alford, they were competitive. They went to the Sweet 16, I believe.
Yeah. UCLA is just always they just haven't been good in a very long time. Besides that Lonzo team, and even then they were, I
Like
don't
they
know.
weren't even that good with like Kevin Love and Russ.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, since Kareem was there, they really haven't had anything to show for their success. So
Yeah, so uh, I think we talked about it all.
yeah, I mean, I can't wait to watch the game tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. There's no college basketball on today to really watch, but there's football on Monday.
Yeah,
Two
there's two
games.
games. There's a game on in an hour.
Yeah,
Washington football team versus the Steelers.
yeah, that'll be. I mean, I
Steelers
guess
are going 12-0. Mike Tomlin, best coach, third best coach in the NFL. First is Belichick, second is Reed, third is Tomlin.
I could respect that. Yeah, it's definitely not Nagy.
Dude, I mean, we could honestly talk next 4 hours about the Chicago Bears and how bad of a franchise it is, how the McCaskies need to sell the team. It's just a total shit show going on at Hallis Hall.
Yeah, I think Dave Kaplan
I was listening to him this morning because I wanted to know what he was thinking.
he was saying that he thinks Ted Phillips is thinking about retiring, which would be
Awesome,
uh,
amazing.
yeah. We just needed everything to just be changed.
It's
Pace out of
almost
here,
as good as the
Nagy out of here.
McCaskies selling the team. Almost as good.
Yeah, really.
I think the problem is like the Bulls just went through this problem, and that's why they fired Gar Forman. Is that the fans right now are becoming indifferent. Like we honestly don't care if they win or lose now. We just want change. That's
Yeah.
literally what's going on. Happened with the Bulls. Their attendance tanked. Obviously, there's no attendance in Soldier Field this year, but it would be tanking right now. And it's
Uh,
just, I
I
feel like
mean,
it would.
I don't know. I feel like Bears games, no matter who we're playing, no matter how bad we are, those will sell out. But yeah, fans would be pissed for sure.
But like the McCaskies keep increasing the ticket prices, and they go to the playoffs once every 10 years, once a decade.
Yeah. Yeah. We need some change. I think we need to get offensive linemen first and foremost. I know everyone wants a quarterback, and I love Zach Wilson. Obviously, I love Fields and
Kyle
Lawrence
Trask.
too.
Kyle Trask is the man. He'll fall.
He's good, yeah, but I'd rather go out and just build an offensive line and then ride this year out with Foles. Next year, get some more, get a quarterback, and even more offensive line. Just keep coming with the offensive line. There's no end to offensive line, especially this year when we had James Daniel go down, Bobby Massey go down, and
Cody
just
Whitehair went down.
yeah for a little bit, and
Just terrible. I think honestly they just gotta. I said in my TikTok, just trade all assets worth of value for draft picks. Become the Oklahoma City Thunder of the NBA.
yeah, I wish we could. Unfortunately, I think I love what the Thunder are doing, but I think NBA and NFL are just they're different, and like that's just not as possible in the NFL. I don't think, but um, like I think, or what I'm trying to say is, even if the Bears did that, there's no guarantee that it'll all work out. But the amount of picks the Oklahoma City Thunder have at this point, and the amount of talent they're gonna get,
They're gonna
they're
hit on at least 5 of them out of like the 20 picks they had.
they're gonna have some superstars for sure in the next 7 years.
Do you think TJ Stewart will end up going to Thunder?
I mean, I don't really know what his draft stock is right now. I haven't looked at any mock drafts just because the other.
Is he gonna be a one and done?
I think the only one we can say will be a one and done at this point is Jalen Johnson.
Oh, for sure.
He will for sure be a one and done. He'll be a top 5 pick probably, barring a just brutal season. But he's been all right so far, and I could see Matthew Hurt is doing very well. I could see him going to the NBA draft if he keeps this up.
And definitely he could go as a power forward, number 4.
Yeah, Matthew Hurt. So my predictions right now is Matthew Hurt and Johnson will go to the draft. Roach will stay for sure. Wendell Moore will stay for sure. Mark Williams will obviously stay for sure. And And but yeah, we won't know until we know. Like when I was actually walking home from my house one night, after I was at my friend's house, and I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I literally opened Instagram the second Trey Jones posted on his Instagram announcing that he was staying at Duke for another year, and I was going insane because I had no clue if he was staying.
That was me with Io and Kofi.
Yeah, that was crazy too. Io had committed to the draft, and then he withdrawed, and then he was like tweeting and posting at Kofi, or was it the opposite way around?
Kofi came back the day after Io.
Yeah, so so Io came back and he's like tweeting at Kofi. I'm sure they were texting like.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then it happened. So yeah, that was awesome. And I honestly didn't know if Trey Jones would go to the draft or not this year. And he ended up going, but it was till the buzzer pretty much. I wasn't sure. I was just crossing my fingers. But I think when we had 4 or 5-star recruits and 2 4-star recruits coming in, Trey Jones was like, well, I could stay and be literally like the best college basketball player next year. But then I don't know, there's just a pressure at
Same
Duke.
Situation as Io.
There's just a pressure at Duke when you're a freshman or you're a highly recruited guy looking to go to the NBA. It's kind of like, well, if I stay another year, there's 7 guys coming in next year who are going to be right behind me trying to get minutes and take my job. And if that happens, then I'm pretty much screwed for going to the NBA. So, yeah.
And then before we go, I want to know who's on your jersey? Who's on your Duke jersey?
We got Christian Laettner.
Oh,
yes, sir. Yes,
the one and only most hated man in college basketball. Coming in at second, JJ Redick, and then coming in at third, Grayson Allen.
Love Grayson Allen. I'm actually thinking about getting a Grayson Allen NBA jersey.
I got my Kofi jersey on, of course. Always have it on. I have an Io jersey, but it's white and it's kind of see-through, so like I can't wear hoodies under it.
Yeah.
But I started with the Kofi, and I got an Adam Miller jersey in the mail. But this was a great show, great crossover. We got to do this on your podcast with Nick and maybe Pat. We definitely got to do this over on your, and then you guys, you're always welcome on Zoom or whenever you want.
Yeah, for sure. It was nice being a guest for once, just because
you're always the host.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah, liked it.
You're not the one asking questions. You're the one answering questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
You're always welcome back on.
For sure.
Love to have you and Nick join up. Who knows? That's the awesome thing about podcasts is we have 100% creative control of the content we want.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing podcasts right now. It's going really well. I think I'm actually gonna have to upgrade my whatever package I have on Podbean because I only have like a few more. I only have like an hour left of to record on because I'm already reaching the limit just because the boys love the podcast and I had to push it out fast. So.
And then I will say funny story. I was actually the one that kind of got you into the podcast game.
That is true. You helped us out a lot.
Yes, I showed him how to upload the RSS feed and stuff. If you don't know you have no clue what we're talking about if you haven't started a podcast.
Exactly.
So we won't get into it. Luke, before you go, where can everyone who's listening here find you and Nick? Where can they find Superfans Sports?
Yeah, the best way to find us is go to TikTok. We are superfans.sports. And then there's a link in the bio for all of our podcasts information and my Twitter, Nick's Twitter. And yeah, go follow our TikTok because why not? I love making the content for the boys.
I love watching the content.
Yeah.
So this has been episode 29 of Zoomer Sports Radio. Thank you to the one and only Luke Pedrigi for joining the show, and I will definitely have to come on Superfans Sports Spiel, but this has been episode 29. We'll see you guys later.